This tutorial is for first grade, Module 4, Lesson 19. In Lesson 19, we're going to use the read, draw, write process for solving word problems. We'll start by reading the word problem. So this problem says, Lee saw 6 squash and 7 pumpkins growing in his garden. How many vegetables did he see growing in his garden? The next step is to draw a tape diagram and to label it. The tape diagram is a problem-solving strategy that the students will use all the way through middle school. So it's important that we actually get them used to using tape diagrams in first grade. So it may seem like they could solve this problem in many other ways, but the goal here is to get them used to using a tape diagram and understand the visual aspect behind it and how the labeling works. So that's why we're going to practice using the tape diagram in this lesson. To begin with, I've got a rectangle and that represents our tape, and I have a label up at the top. This label will tell us what this whole rectangle represents. So since the question is how many vegetables did he see growing in his garden, it would make sense that this label be vegetables because that's what we're counting all together. So we'll write vegetables for our top label. Now, the rectangle has been divided into 2 parts, and those 2 parts will show the 2 parts of the problem. So we know he saw 6 squash. So in the first rectangle, I'm going to draw 6 circles to represent the squash. And I'm going to just put an S below to show that that's the squash. In the other rectangle, I'm going to draw 7 circles to represent the pumpkins. And I'll put a P down below as my label to show that that rectangle represents the pumpkins. Notice that the left rectangle is a little bit smaller than the right rectangle. We do that to show that the number on my left is a little bit smaller than the number on my right. Now all I have to do is add to find out the total number of vegetables in the whole tape. A couple of different ways I can do that. I can look for my groups of 5 first. So I have 5 here, 5 here, that makes 10, and then 3 more. That tells me that there are 13 vegetables in all. Now we're going to write a number sentence showing that. 6 plus 7 equals 13. That means that Lee saw 13 vegetables. So those are the steps that we'll follow using the read, draw, write process to solve these problems. The next problem says Kara caught 6 lizards. Her brother caught 6 snakes. How many reptiles do they have altogether? Again, we have a tape diagram to help us solve this problem. Since the question asks how many reptiles do they have altogether, I know that my label at the top will be reptiles. So we'll write that first. And let's go back to our problem. We have 6 lizards, so I'll show that on the left-hand side of the tape. I'll draw 6 circles. And I'm going to put an L below that to stand for lizards. And then we'll show the 6 snakes on the right-hand side. And I'll put an S to represent the snakes. To add these together, again, I'm going to look for my groups of 5, or the students could just count all the circles going across. Either way is fine. So I have 2 groups of 5, so that's 10, and then 2 more, for a total of 12. My number sentence would be 6 plus 6 equals 12. And to fill in my sentence, I would say they had 12 reptiles altogether. Problem 3 says Andy's team has 12 soccer balls on the field and 3 soccer balls in the coach's bag. How many soccer balls does Andy's team have? So my label will be soccer balls since that's what I'm counting. And we'll go back to our problem. It shows me I have 12 balls in the field. So I'll start by drawing my 12 in this long piece of tape on the left. I'm going to do it in 5 groups because that makes it easier for me to see 12. And down below I'm going to put an F to show that those were the balls in the field. And then we have 3 soccer balls in the coach's bag. So I'll draw 3, and I'm going to put a B down below to show that those are the balls in the coach's bag. To find my total, I would add all of this together. So I have a group of 10 here, and then I have a group of 2 and 3 to make 5. That tells me that 12 plus 3 equals 15, and that Andy's team has 15 soccer balls. Let's do one more example. This one says Rose has a vase with 13 flowers. She puts 7 more flowers in the vase. How many flowers are in the vase? Well, we're counting flowers, so I'll label it as flowers at the top. And I'll start with the 13 flowers that are already in the vase. I'll draw those using my 5 groups again. And then I have 3 ones, and I'll put a V for vase. And then we see that she puts 7 more flowers in the vase, so I'll draw those. And let's see, let's just put an M for more, meaning that we put more flowers into the vase. And now to count these, let's see, I have a group of 10 here, and a group of 5, so that's 15. And then I can combine these 3 and those 2 for another group of 5. So that would be 20. My number sentence would be 13 plus 7 equals 20. And my statement is there are 20 flowers in the vase. So again, using the tape diagram gives the students a visual representation of the problem. And it is a process that we want the students to be comfortable with starting in first grade. So as they go through, all the way up through the middle school grades, they can become proficient in using tape diagrams.